Hey everyone, welcome back to Smart Architectural Programming, where we bring code to life and brick by digital brick. If you're following along with our Introduction to Java series, we have another exciting video today, and if you're following along as an accompanying video to our Introduction to Java book, then this is one of the many accompanying videos with our book. And today's episode, we're going to be focusing on arrays, basically, specifically how to work within their length and bounds. We'll break down what an array length means, how to avoid those pesky array index out of bounds exception errors, and how to safely loop through arrays. So let's push forward, and without further ado, let's try to first give a brief primer on what are arrays. Let's start simple. When we talk about the length of an array in Java, we mean how many elements can it hold, basically. So here, numbers.length that you see here, this word right over here. So especially focus on the dot length portion, right? That's the portion that you need to focus on especially. So returns 5 because there are 5 elements in the array. That we know, we can count it out, but sometimes arrays are very big. So what this function dot length that you need to focus on does is that it basically goes into the array and identifies exactly how many elements are in the array, which is the array's length, right? And if the array is very, very big and you can't see the array visually, then it can tell you exactly what the length of the array is, and if and if you want to loop through it, you probably wouldn't exceed that value. But remember, in this case, it returned the value 5, right? But the issue here is it just tells you how many elements are in there. But an array, it doesn't mean that this last element in the array is 5. You cannot access this element using 5. That would mean 5 would usually mean you have gone a step ahead, which means this has exceeded the bounds of the array, because arrays are 0 indexed. If we have 5, then the last value in the array would be 4, because from 0 to 4 becomes 5 elements. So that is an important delineation to make when we're dealing with arrays or any computing language, because they're usually 0 indexed. So number 2 is how you access array elements safely, right? Again, as I mentioned, array index out of bound exception error is bound to cause you trouble, and that's the issue here, and that's the catch. If you try to access number 5 in the previous case that I mentioned, you'll get an error because the index doesn't exist, because 5 elements mean the last digit index is at 4, because 0 to 4 is 5 elements, 0 to 5 is 6 elements. So it means we're out of bounds. So as you can see, this is one of the most common beginner mistakes in lengths and bounds aspects of arrays in Java. To avoid it, always use the length property as I mentioned when looping, and always remember, if the value of the dot length function gives us is 5, it means the last element is 4, not 5, right? So with that clear delineation, again, let's move on to how we can loop through arrays in Java. So looping is very, very simple, right? You can use a simple for loop to loop through values in Java. And how do you go about it, basically? Remember, the pattern that you're seeing here for looping is your best friend. When working with arrays, notice how we go from 0 up to, but not including numbers.length. This ensures we stay within valid boundaries. So here what I want to emphasize here. So we start our counter at 0. Because arrays are 0 indexed, that's the best case way to always start your looping. Number 2, always use I is less than numbers.length, because numbers.length is going to be 5, and which means the array's last index value is 4. So less than 5 means we'll stop at 4. And with most cases, in all cases rather, that would be correct and the safe way to do it. Never use less than equal to. That would always create problems, because 5 is outside the bounds, and that would create problems. So with that understanding, let's move on to the next thing, which is using enhanced for loops. Again, these are just for cleaner loops. This is especially useful when you don't need the index, or you don't need to access values within an array. You just need to make them visible or see them, right? So this is a cleaner way to do that. But never do use enhanced loops if you want to access the values or you want to use indexing. So that's a caveat to enhanced loops in Java. So wrapping up, basically we covered how to use .length to check how many elements are in your array. We also discussed how you should never exceed array.length -1 when accessing elements. We also discussed how you can use for or enhanced for loops for safe and easy iteration. If you found this helpful, give us a like and subscribe, and don't forget the content ties directly into our Introduction to Java book, available now from Smart Architectural Program. Until next time, keep coding smart and keep coding for your future. Thank you.